everyone. This is Ananya Bish, and I am currently a second year student at IIT Kanpur pursuing BTech in Civil Engineering. And today we have with us Dhawal, and he's from IIT Bombay, currently pursuing a BS in Mathematics. So over to you, Dhawal. Could you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so hello everybody. I am Dhawal Singh. I am a third year undergraduate in the Department of Mathematics at IIT Bombay, and I'm pursuing a BS in it. And yeah, I do a lot of things but mathematics. Initially, I thought that my branch would be all mathematics, but
Right.
there's a lot of other things that are going on. And it's a great branch. It has been till now. I guess it will continue to be like that. But yeah, it's a great branch for somebody who wants to explore.
Right, great. So, my first question to you is that what made you choose this branch during your own JOSA counseling? Or, in other words, if I ask that, what were the other options that you were getting in different colleges that you rejected to get this one?
So the story is that I did not have this branch in my first year. I
Okay,
branch changed to this branch.
right.
So initially, I was in chemistry in IIT Bombay.
Hmm.
The other options I was getting were engineering physics in IIT Guwahati, then physics in Kanpur,
Right.
and I was also getting material sciences in IIT Delhi,
Hmm.
but and even textiles and all of those branches. Why I took
Right.
chemistry in IIT Bombay was simply, of course, again the reason was because it was IIT Bombay,
Right. Exactly.
and at that time I had thought, that I just get a decent enough CPI to branch change to any BTech branch. So all I
Right.
wanted was a BTech at that time.
Right.
So,
Right.
I had read that, aerospace and metallurgy has cut off around 7.98. I just thought
Hmm.
I'd get an 8 CPI, branch change to metallurgy, branch change to aerospace, forget about it.
Right.
But at the end of my first year, I don't know what bug bit me, and I took the only branch which was non-BTech that was available through the branch change.
Right.
So that was that. So I took math because I really liked math at the end of my first year, and I also realized that a lot of mathematics that we are doing now is much different from JE math. It's not. It's just
Right.
not. Figuring out, getting to the answer. It's a lot of other things, a lot of thinking and coming up with ideas, and
Right. Right.
hence that is what motivated me for taking the branch after the end of my first year.
Right. Great. So, what is this branch all about? If you could explain it in layman's terms to a student who might be watching this.
So I mean, one thing that I have to, the disclaimer that I'll give is this is not mathematics that you've been exposed to till now.
Right.
Even to some extent, first year engineering mathematics, it's very different. So the kind of mathematics we are dealing with or
Right.
developing, it's right from the source. So what I mean by that is basically you want to figure out where things came up
Right.
from, and if
Exactly.
you could come up,
Hmm.
with it. So for a simple example, my first class in the mathematics department, the first proof that we came up with is that the number zero is unique.
Right.
So in the entire universe, there can only be one zero.
Right.
And the way you prove it is that you assume that there is another zero, zero prime, and then
Right.
you show
Right.
that this
Hmm.
zero prime will always be equal to zero. And so that is basically, if somebody who's watching this, that is one thing that I can tell you is that you cannot expect anything from this branch.
Right.
It is a whole new territory, but of course that does mean that you get to learn a lot.
Hmm.
You get exposed to a lot of mathematics that you must have not seen. Even people who come up with Olympiads.
Right.
One fun fact about BS Mathematics in IIT Bombay is that it is the only branch across all IITs which you can enter without JE.
Hmm.
So if you qualify IMOTC, then you do not have to give JE. You can directly enter BS Mathematics at IIT Bombay. So
Right.
that's it's the only branch in IIT Bombay which you can get through without JE.
Right. Right.
And things like, so even those people who've come from Olympiads, they have not seen the kind of mathematics that we start dealing with.
Hmm.
And it's just building on that. A lot of basic concepts that we take for granted, stuff like binary multiplication or addition and stuff like that, that we've just used as
Hmm.
kids.
Right.
We've not thought a lot about it.
Right.
Those things, they start mattering.
Hmm.
And that is basically what BS Mathematics is. It's taking mathematics from the core and then developing.
Right. Great. So how different or similar is this branch to another variation of this branch that is available across different IITs? I think in IIT Kanpur also there's this course. This course is called BS in Mathematics and Computing. So, in your opinion, how different is that from mathematics and computing?
So it's, in not my opinion, I mean, I have a friend in IIT Delhi. He's pursuing
Right,
math and computing,
right,
and the courses are entirely different.
right.
What they are dealing with is some kind. They, of course, they have a good high level mathematics,
Hmm.
but that is more on the applied math side. So
Right.
what they are dealing with is large scale computation.
Hmm.
Kind of numerical analysis, those things. Whereas BS mathematics is very scientific.
Right.
It's more on the provability, uniqueness, existence,
Hmm.
those kind of things.
Right.
And you know uh, you can couple it with a CS minor to make it look like a mathematics and computing.
Right.
Like, you can pick out courses,
Ah.
but it's not the same that way. So basically, another thing to point out is that with BS mathematics you have a lot of freedom. Why is that? Because you have around 12 electives, 8 department
Hmm.
electives and 4 institute electives. What that makes you do is that you can decide the kind of mathematics you want to study. So,
Hmm.
somebody wants to do applied mathematics, they can take 6
Go
different
for
courses in
minors
applied
or electives.
mathematics.
Right. Huh.
Correct. So you can, so the flexibility is that, along with a minor and with the right courses,
Hmm.
you can make it look like a mathematics and computing kind of a
Right.
degree.
Right. Right.
But if you want to go towards the pure mathematics side, always there.
Right. That's a great opportunity available for the students of this branch, I think. So, what were the major courses and electives that you have studied so far in this branch? If you could name some of them.
So the only elective I have taken till now, at least from the department, is representation theory of finite groups.
Okay.
But to start with my third semester, I mean, I think first year is common across all IITs,
Hmm.
at least in
Right.
IIT
Right.
Bombay. So most courses, the math courses we did were, calculus, linear algebra,
Hmm.
differential equations. From my second year is when the department starts taking uh, mm, it takes the primary role, and the courses I've done in my second year include real analysis,
Hmm.
then basic algebra, which is group theory, then advanced linear algebra, and then combinatorics. Then we also had complex analysis. Then this year we had differential equations, numerical analysis,
Right.
and all of these courses are actually, so another caveat would be that basically these are 4xx courses. What I mean by that is these courses are supposedly for fourth year and above level.
Hmm.
So here we have courses, 101, 202,
Right. Exactly. Huh.
312. So all the courses in math department from second year onwards are 4xx courses. So MA
Okay.
403, MA 419. All
Right.
of these courses are meant for fourth year and above. So, for somebody who's doing a MSc.
Hmm.
But in the BS mathematics, all our classes are also with MSc students.
Right. Right.
So all these courses are a little advanced. It might feel a little overwhelming in the second year,
Hmm.
but you get used to it.
Yeah. You get adjusted to it finally. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So moving on and talking about internships and placements. So could you share a little bit of your own internship experience and in general the opportunities that are available for the students from this branch?
So the basically branching into BS mathematics, this was another perk that I found out, is that a lot of top firms will open for only four departments at IIT Bombay. The departments are computer science, electrical, engineering, physics, and BS mathematics.
Right.
So for a lot of people, places like Google or Microsoft did not open, but for BS mathematics, they do open. Even a lot of bigger quant firms like Jane Street,
Hmm.
they open for BS mathematics students, and they actually prefer a lot of mathematics students.
Right.
Although there, they might ask your skills and JE ranks and all those things in the interview, but
Hmm.
at least the opportunity is fair for all.
Right. Exactly.
Later, I mean, of course, there is always a computer science student smarter than you. So
Right.
but the thing is that the opportunities are equal and open to all.
Right.
But
Right.
also what I would want to add is, if somebody wants to go to finance or consult, even those are pretty actually, they are pretty welcoming to mathematics
Hmm.
people, because in finance also they are actually on the lookout for people who are good at mathematics. you might have to learn a few extra things like financial mathematics, but that you can do within 6 to 7 weeks. So
Right.
for internships, there was I think there was only one company which came very late, which does not take BS. So they only
Hmm.
had, they had a criterion that we would only take BTech. So there was
Hmm.
this one company, I do not remember the name. It was a software company. But
Okay.
other than that, it's all the companies that come at IIT Bombay, even internships or placement,
Hmm.
these, they are open for BS mathematics students, and a lot of BS mathematics students get accepted.
Right. Right.
Even with consult, the basically that is where my intern is. In a
Hmm.
consult firm also, they like my interview, they were pretty impressed that the math person is coming for consult. So
Right.
there is
Right.
no there is no hampering that you are taking a pure
Right.
science branch, so
Huh.
probably there might be discrimination. That doesn't happen.
Right. Great. So, if you talk about placements now, so what are the major companies that come to recruit from your campus, and if you could name some of them and the roles that they have to offer?
So, I mean, of course, there are the software firms, Apple, there's Google, there's Uber, there's Microsoft. All of these software giants, they do come and
Hmm.
they also open for BS mathematics.
Right.
There are a lot of quantitative finance firms like Jane Street, then there is Quantez,
Hmm.
then there is all of these firms, the big ones, Optiver. These
Right.
firms also open for BS mathematics, and they are pretty liberal about mathematics students as well. And then for quant you have the Bains and the McKenzies and the BCGs. And so I mean, all the top firms
Top firms
across
across,
the world
right? Huh. Right.
are coming to IIT Bombay, and they're not discriminating, at least with BS math students.
Right.
At certain places there are, but most places, at least in day one, day two, there are most of the companies that come
Hmm.
are open for BS mathematics students. Even across finance, the Deutsche Banks or any other
Right.
banks in
Right.
the world,
Huh.
they are opening, and they are actually taking. So another stat is like last year, according to placement stats, all BS math students got placed within 3 days.
Right.
So that was there.
Right, right, great. So, how tough, if you talk academic wise, so how tough or easy was the curriculum of this branch in your opinion?
So that is a good that's a very good question. The thing
Hmm.
is that initially it feels overwhelming because
Right.
in your first year the course is standardized. You are
Huh.
doing basic chemistry, basic mathematics, basic physics, electromagnetism, basic computer science. These courses they're not tough to learn. They
Hmm.
might be tough to score because others are better than you, relative grading, all of those things, but they're not tough
Right.
to learn. But as soon as you come in the third semester, which is the beginning of the
Hmm.
second year, the courses they are a jump. So
Right.
you do feel overwhelmed. And for me, it was a little more overwhelming because I had changed my branch. So there was a belonging issue and all of those things. But
Right.
there's a sudden jump that you feel. You are
Hmm.
not used to,
Right.
unless somebody has looked at a lot of higher level mathematics. It's
Right.
a jump.
Which rarely
But
happens because I think at a first year student is not like that highly aware of the
exactly.
curriculum. Right. Hmm.
Exactly. Correct. And for a first year student, the kind of math they have seen is JEE math. Yeah, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा they
Right.
must have seen some double integrals, triple integrals.
Huh.
उससे
Exactly.
ज़्यादा तो हाँ. But then you are looking at groups and finite groups and stuff like
Right.
the symmetric group, and then you are taking it to topological groups, and then you
Hmm.
are, after a point you stop. It stops making sense
Right.
with
Right.
respect to the real world.
Exactly.
It becomes
Huh.
too abstract. At
Right.
least that's what I felt.
Right. Right.
People might have a different opinion,
Hmm.
but I think now in my sixth semester, it's going to start. Now I'm pretty comfortable. I know what to expect. uh,
Right.
you know it also requires a lot of reading. So the more books you read, at least
Hmm.
at least in mathematics I can say, the more books you read, the more familiar you become.
Right.
Because I think the biggest issue that comes for a math student is notation.
Hmm.
If the notation is clear, then the concepts are not some rocket science. it's
Right.
it's
Right.
easy to perceive.
Right.
But the notation can be scary, and then there is a lot of terms that you might not be familiar with, like convergence or
Right.
m tests and root
Huh.
tests and stuff like that, and those
Right.
things you not seen in general, so it's a little overwhelming. But
Right.
that's just the third semester. After the third semester, you get used to it. You start taking electives, and then there are a few easier courses also.
Hmm.
So they, you, and again, eventually you decide what you want to do. You start taking the courses that you want to do. You start enjoying.
Right. 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 So, is there a scope of further or higher studies also in this branch? And are people from your batch going for like further studies and for universities?
Yeah, so I mean, I think most people who initially take BS mathematics are, wishing to go for higher studies.
Right. Right.
Although by the end of their third, fourth year, they realize that I can do something else also. But with our batch, I would say there's a good amount of people who choose to, do a master's or a PhD. For a master's, I don't think any branch matters, because you will eventually have to give the GRE and then
Right. Huh.
give the standardized test.
The procedure
And
is
for
different, right?
PhDs, a lot, yeah, the
Hmm.
procedure is totally like similar for all branches.
Huh. Right.
If somebody is
Exactly.
mathematics,
Huh.
they want to pursue computer science, they can do that. But with the PhDs, which a lot of people have done, is that
Hmm.
after BTech, after your BS, if you've done enough research in your bachelor's, then you can apply for a direct integrated
Hmm.
PhD kind of a system, which a lot of
Okay.
people do, and they are, in very good universities. there are people in UCLA and
Hmm.
even, Utah and all of those universities. So people get in, even from our year, people are preparing. Their results will come next year. But
Okay.
from the batch above, people have gone
Right.
to, San Diego and all of those places.
Hmm. Hmm.
So directly PhD, I would say it's a bit tough, because the issue with mathematics is you need a lot of base knowledge before you can do research,
Right.
right? So you need to
Understandable.
know a
Right.
lot of basics,
Hmm.
at least basic topology to aana chahiye, basic group theory to
Huh.
aana hi chahiye before you
Right.
can pursue research. So for those kinds of reasons, unless you are doing a lot of external reading,
Huh.
a direct PhD might not be possible. But even then, for an average student, do a master's and then do a PhD. That's not going to cause, like, it's 1 year extra that you're investing.
Right.
So I
Exactly.
think that's pretty fair.
Right. So, I think that was all that we wanted to know about internships and placements. So, moving on and talking a little bit more about the non-academic life at IIT Bombay. So, how has your own experience been so far to study at the best IIT of the country?
I mean, it's been white and black is
Right.
what I'm going to say. The issue is that, of course, our first year and some of second year was again online.
Hmm.
So the best IIT in the country was just a Zoom window for me.
Right.
So I did not get to interact a lot. But once you come to the place, it's a great campus. And I think, I mean, I'm sure other IITs have much better campuses, much more beautiful, much scenic. But with IIT Bombay, one thing I feel is that the peer group here is what can make or break you.
Hmm.
So the thing is that there are people in their second year, in their third year, who are so smart and talented, and they're also doing a lot.
Right.
But there are also people who are, probably caught up with the pressure or not wanting to go
Right.
down a certain
Right.
track.
Hmm.
And so basically you will find all kinds of people here, but I think it's the peer group that sets IIT Bombay apart.
Right.
Meeting people,
Hmm.
somebody who wants to start a startup, whereas somebody who is, ranked 2500 on lead code, and these two people are super successful people, and then
Right.
you are stuck. But you also learn a lot with these kind
Right.
of people.
Right.
They will teach you. They will, some, AIR 7 is sitting next to you in a course,
Right. Exactly.
and then that person is solving sums at lightning speed, and you're just looking at it and you're trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
So stuff like that has, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you challenged. And the good part about IIT Bombay is that the interdisciplinary work that you can do, there is no bound to that.
Hmm.
So you are in the mathematics department, nobody is going to stop you from doing a project in the chemistry department, say,
Right.
or
Right.
in the physics department, or in the computer science department. So the thing is that you want to do a project under any professor, of course there will be guidelines. The professor will want stuff from you, but if you're willing to give it, then you are, set. You can do a lot of things. And talking about the campus, there's a lake in the campus.
Hmm.
uh, there are, leopard sightings. So there are
Right.
cows in the classroom. There we have
Mhm.
everything. So that
Right.
is always there. And plus it's well connected. I mean, connectivity might be an issue. There is no train station nearby, so
Hmm.
it's on JVLR, so there's a lot of traffic, but the area nearby is pretty good. There are
Right.
a lot of joints. You can go out on an evening, celebrate. That's all of those
Right.
things are there. So
Right.
that way, it's pretty well connected.
Right, great. So that was like really good to know about your experience at IIT Bombay so far. So the next question is kind of really popular among the students who are willing to join the college in the upcoming semesters, and like we all had this doubt once in our mind while we were also choosing our branch in college. So, and that is that what should a person go for? Should they go for a better branch or a better college? So, what's your take on this question?
So there's a mixed answer that I would. So
Right.
I took a better college,
Hmm.
and initially my reasons were pretty shallow for taking a better college.
Right.
But I think if a person is willing to work hard,
Right.
then a better college is going to always help them.
Hmm.
But it's also possible that after JEE somebody is pretty tired and they do not want to they want to study for another year. Then
Right.
probably it's better to take a better branch. But at least my suggestion would be to take a better college, because of course there is this branch upgrade that you can do,
Right.
that is
Exactly.
always there.
Hmm.
But even if you do not get that, and people come with that and they do not get it, you can still do a lot of interdisciplinary work.
Right.
So
As you
having a
mentioned. Right.
minor from
Right.
computer science, or doing a project under a professor in computer science, even those things with an IIT Bombay tag on your resume, those things always magnify
Right.
and enlarge your profile.
Right.
And then it's also about opportunities. There are places where a lot of companies might not come only, so then
Hmm.
even there being in a great branch, it's not going to help.
Right.
But in
Exactly.
IIT Bombay, at least you can struggle, you can fight, you
Hmm.
can prepare,
You
you
will
can
at
try
least
to be
have
the
that
best.
opportunity. Right. Hmm.
Correct. So the opportunity is always there. But again, on the other hand, you will also be demotivated that
Right.
much, because
Exactly.
people are smart and people will do a lot of things. And it's also very possible that, you get lost in the crowd.
Right.
So if you can avoid all of those things, a better IIT, again, it's about opportunities. Even external opportunities in Mumbai are going to be much greater than other parts.
Hmm.
You can just go outside and tell somebody that you're from IIT Bombay, you might get an interview, stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
since it's also the economic hub, IIT Bombay or any top IIT, even Delhi, Kanpur, Kharagpur,
Hmm.
these IITs, since they have a brand, they
Right.
have their alumni connections.
My
And I think
network. Right.
alumni connections, yeah, alumni network
Hmm.
is something to be talked about.
Right.
So there was this friend of mine, and he applied in Stanford,
Hmm.
and he was an IITian, and there was an IIT Kanpur professor who was the head of
Okay.
the department.
Right.
So
Hmm.
they were like, IIT, and they just, because of the alumni connection. So
Right.
this
Right.
these things, they can,
Right.
probably in a newer IIT, the IIT is so
Right. These
newly
are the perks.
established.
I think that the students of the older IITs like usually have a benefit over
Correct.
the other IITs. Right.
So because the other IITs, they haven't had a chance to grow their
Right.
alumni network.
Right. Exactly.
But look at a lot of top founders. They are from older IITs, and
Hmm.
rightfully so, because at that time no other IITs were present.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that is why a top IIT, as they call, or an older IIT,
Right.
they help in that sense. You can get a lot of connections and networking. Some senior, that senior knows someone else. That's a big network,
Hmm.
and
Right.
that might help you later.
Right. And I think the best part about IITs, older IITs, as you mentioned, that all the seniors are like always ready to help you in whatever way you want to. And they're like, you have this
Correct.
image of seniors, right? Before coming to the college that you might not be treated that well. But in fact, even in my case, that was like when I came to college and interacted with my own seniors, like that I formed a completely opposite image of what I already had in my mind. And that's the best part about it, I think.
True,
As
and
you
they're
mentioned,
always, even if they can't help you directly, they
they'll
will,
also refer to
connect you
you.
with somebody.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. So that the culture at older IITs, as you
Hmm.
mentioned, there's hostel culture, there's
Right.
all of these, they come in handy, later.
Right. Right.
You want to work. And again, as you also mentioned, the older IITs have other traditions also going on. Like there's a fest, you get to work in the
Ah.
fest, or there are
Right.
events,
And
other
that also
activities.
teaches you a
That a
lot.
lot.
Right. Right. Right.
True, 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 true. That teaches you a lot about other things, yeah.
Right. Great. So, I think we came towards the end of the interview, and just one last question before going. That what is a final message from your side that you would like to give to the students who are watching this?
I mean, at least to the students who are watching this, I would just say that, you do not have to stress out. And
Right.
the biggest advice I would want to give is that, life has bigger plans for you. So you
Right.
might
Right.
think that you are supposed to go in some direction and you have this entire chalked out plan that I will get this rank, then I'll go into this IIT, and then I'll do this. And then, life will hit you with a different kind of clarity, and then you will decide, oh no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do something else.
Right. Right.
And so even if there's a setback, a minor setback or a major setback, you might not get the branch you want or the college you want. You don't
Hmm.
have to worry about it. Eventually, things do pan out if you're willing to work hard and willing to give it your all. So I
Right.
think it's just important to keep working and then leave rest to what where it takes you.
Right. Great. That was a wonderful message to end.